Hello everybody, this is SilverBullet999 and this is how to play the Resistance Avalon. The Resistance Avalon is a hit and roll deduction game where if you're on the side of good, you want to succeed in a lot of quests and try to keep Merlin's identity a secret. If you're evil, you want to fail the majority of quests, which is 3. And if you fail to do that, you then want to identify who Merlin is because you'll still win. So this is going to be a brief introduction as to how to play and also how to get things set up and everything. At the very end, I'll sort of go over some strategies for the different types of roles there are. And hopefully you enjoy. Alright, well, without further ado, let's get started. Unloaded here, you have everything besides the rulebook that comes in the box. The first thing you're going to do is identify how many players are playing and choose the right quest counter or quest track map. In the bottom left of each of these, there's the number of players that it's meant for. This one is 9 players. And there are 3 minions of Mordred in this one. We're going to play with 5, so, oh, look at that. It's right over there. Beautiful, marvelous, fantastic. All right, so with 5 players playing, the game allows for up to 10. You're going to be playing with 2 minions of Mordred. What does that all mean, Silver? I don't understand. Well, don't worry. We're going to get to it very soon. So, the first thing you're going to want to do after placing that on the quest track is grab this icon. This is the quest tracker, which just helps keep track of what quest you currently are going on. And put it there. You're going to want to take this little buddy and put it right here on vote track number 1. This is your vote tracker, and we'll just keep track of the amount of votes that were had per quest. The next thing I forgot, these 3 cards are in the box, and you do not have to worry about them. Just throw them back in the box. That's if you have a large amount of players. We don't have that here. So the next thing you want to do is go into the deck and draw out some rolls. Now, this is good versus evil, so there's the some special rolls. I'm going to just sort of show you the 5 that I would highly recommend going with for your first game. And that's basically throw Merlin into the mix and the Assassin into the mix, because that's sort of what makes Avalon a bit more unique to other games that are similar to this genre. There's Merlin, and he knows evil and also must remain hidden. There's generic minions of Mordred, who are the bad guys. So he'll go there. Generic loyal servant of Arthur. She'll go there. The Assassin. She gets to decide who she thinks Merlin is at the end of the game if the minions of Mordred have lost. She'll go there. And last but not least, loyal servant of Arthur. So these are the 5 cards you'll be playing with in total with your 5 friends. So you're going to take them. You're going to mix them up. Mix them up good. Center that. There we go. And you're going to secretly give each player 5 cards. For you, I'll put the card there. So that's your roll. That's that person's roll. This is my roll. This is another person's roll. And we'll put that other person there. One other thing you're going to want to do is go through these bags, these purple bags. One is an approve, the other is a reject. You're going to want to get one of each and give them to each player, as you can see I have set up here. Another thing is you're going to want to get these tokens and just place them somewhere, so you remember them. These will keep track of who has won or lost these quests. Finally, you have these cards, which are successes and failures. Don't worry about them. You don't have to give them to anybody yet. We'll be getting to that. Whoever wants to be the first player should get the crown. They are the team chooser. And you know what? Since I'm the one talking here, I will give it to myself because I am great and awesome. So this is how the setup should be. There's also these shields, which should be given to the person with the crown, because this is what the person will hand out to whomever they think should go on the quest. So they go to me. All right, so I'm going to secretly look at my roll. and I'm going to secretly reveal it to you, even though I shouldn't. I'm a loyal servant of Arthur, which means I really won't know much. You, on the other hand, oh, you're a minion of Mordred. We're going to be versing each other. That will be unfortunate for me. The other roles, which, again, the other players would know their role, you wouldn't know their role. That's the assassin, and I'm actually not going to reveal these two roles, just to keep it exciting. Everybody looks at their role cards and then places their card back down, so nobody knows who each other is yet. And the way the game will begin is everybody closes their eyes. So everybody's closed their eyes. You've closed yours, right? Now, minions of Mordred, hint that's you, open your eyes. You two are the minions of Mordred. You'll look at each other, acknowledging, hey, I know who my partner in crime is. I want to work with that person to try to win the game. The person, the head person will go, minions of Mordred, close your eyes. You will close your eyes. Next, minions of Mordred, put your thumbs up. So this person, being your partner, and you will put your thumbs up. The person who is Merlin, the next thing that will be said is, Merlin, open your eyes. Merlin, who is one of these three, will open their eyes and know, hey, you two are evil. You two are the bad guys. We don't want to give quests to you guys, and we want to avoid you two in general. Next, Merlin, close your eyes. Merlin will close his eyes. And then finally, minions of Mordred, put your thumbs down, so your thumbs are back, and you're sitting normally. And then everybody opens their eyes, and the game officially begins. So the game starts. The minions of Mordred know who each other is, typically. Merlin knows who the minions of Mordred are. And this is how it starts. So me, being who I am, I have absolutely no idea who anybody is. For the first quest, it requires 2 people to go on the quest. This is what these numbers are for. The first quest requires 2 people. The second quest requires 3 people. The third quest requires 2 people. The fourth quest requires 3. And the fifth quest and final quest requires 3. So we chat amongst ourselves potentially for the first quest. It's sort of hard to read people, admittedly, on the first quest. But you know what? I nominate myself, which I by no means have to, but I've decided, hell, I trust myself, and I want to, know some information. And since you seem to be pretty interested in talking to me, I will give you a shield as well. This is the proposed vote for the team I want to send on this quest. Everybody, including the people nominated, will then look at their voting tokens. They will choose to put one in the middle, face down, basically in front of them. So it's like so. This is important because everybody knows how you vote. So you like this team because you're on it and you'll approve. Your partner is looking at you going, this is great. We want to, I'm glad that you're going on this quest because you can do bad things during the quest. So you'll approve. One of the players here, actually, you know what? Everybody's going to approve. So everybody has put their voting tokens in. You're going to flip it over. And you're going to see, everybody approves of this. That's a little scary because I know 2 people are bad and probably don't want 2 good guys going in. But maybe they're trying to confuse me. Who knows? So congratulations. The 2 of us are going on a quest together. This is where this deck comes in. You will hand each player a fail and a success. The players will take the fail and the success. So, put it in their hand. Shuffle it up. And it's very simple. If you're good, you're on the good side, you have to put in a success. You have no choice in the matter. This is as simple as possible. There's a blue icon here and no blue icon here. You cannot play a fail. You just play the success. So you will I will basically shuffle my cards, right? So nobody sees what card I'm actually playing. And I'm like, okay, this is the success over here. I'm going to put it face down, and I will put this card back into the deck. You will do the same. However, you have a fun choice. You're the bad guys. You could either put in a success to confuse me, or put in a failure. Now, the way quests are decided are like so. Let's say you put a fail in. These cards would get shuffled, so nobody knows who put in what. And then they are revealed to the public. So, we have one failure and a success. The second you have one failure, the quest has failed, and the minions of Mordred get their token on that quest. If instead you put a success, the good guys have won this quest. They only have 2 more to go in order to win the game. Well, in order for them to have potentially won the game, because if the good guys win 3 quests, the bad guys will reveal themselves, talk amongst each other, and the assassin will choose a player that they think is Merlin. So if you think I'm Merlin by the end of the game and I reveal myself as not Merlin, the good guys have won, else the bad guys have won. That's in essence how the game sort of plays out. Let me just cover a few other scenarios that could happen. So let's say I nominated you and myself, and everybody was like, no, I smell funny. They don't want me to go on this quest. And we'll say everybody besides me rejects this quest, so we'll reveal the vote. I'm the only one that approved it. Nobody trusts in me. The crown, which allows the person to choose the team that, or propose the team that's going on the quest, it's passed to the left. The shields go to that person. The bag votes go back to each player, and the vote track moves up 1. This person will propose a team. If it's approved, you go on the quest. If it's not approved, you do not go on the quest, and the vote track will go up. Again, if it is vote track number 5, you have to, if you're a good guy, you have to approve, because if you reject, if there's if there's 6 rejects in a row, proposed teams, or 5 rejections in a row for proposed teams, the bad guys win. We just haven't been able to decide on a team that we want to send. Basically, when it gets to 5, you just, whatever the leader says goes, and it goes through. When a quest is complete, whether it fails or passes, you move on to the next quest. The second quest will require 3 people. Also, after a quest is done, the crown will still pass. So the crown is always passing to another player, either after it's approved or rejected. This quest might go either way, etc., etc. If the bad guys, we'll say it goes like this. If the bad guys end up winning the last quest, the bad guys have won. If the good guys end up winning the last quest, for instance, in this case, they have not won yet. The assassin and their partner can talk amongst each other to decide, to make a guess as to who Merlin could be. And since they guessed correctly, Merlin is killed, and the bad guys have won the game. This game is very interesting in that it really requires a lot of communication, because let's rewind back to when I proposed the 2 of us go out together. Now, I'm a person who has no knowledge whatsoever. We've both been approved to go on the quest. Oh, I'm sorry, one other thing I forgot to mention. So let's say the vote track was here. Let's say this is when the team approves it. Quest results are had and we win. This would go up, and this would get reset back to 1. So you have 5 chances to propose a good team each for each new quest. It never stays at 3 or whatnot. Let's say quest 1. I have no idea who's good or bad right now. So I propose the 2 of us. and I put in a success, I know I put in a success because I'm a good guy. You put in a fail because you want an early win for the bad guy team. So the bad guys, this is revealed. The bad guys have it. An interesting thing here is that I now know you're bad. There's no question in my mind that you're bad. You're going to argue that I'm bad because you knew that you put the success card down. That's actually a better way to, fine. You put the success card down, and I must have put the fail down, even though you've realized that you did it. There's a lot of deception involved, and just sort of craziness. Things can get loud depending on how fun your group is, and that you're accusing and trying to convince whoever the leader is to, go with you and not with the other person because you know they're bad or you think they're bad. You then have Merlin, who knows all the information but can't be obvious about it because if he is, he'll get guessed. With all that being said, let me go over sort of the traditional roles real quick. You now know enough to actually play the game. It sounds like there's an ambulance around, but that's okay. Let me just go over the roles real quick and some suggestions for them because, and some suggestions in general. First thing, when you get to a quest that requires 2 people, always put a success on it, even if you're bad. It's so much more powerful when a person knows you're evil, especially when it's not Merlin, because in the case where I'm bad and you're good and you put a failure down, I have no doubts. There's no doubt whatsoever. When you do it with 3 people and one of you 3 put a fail down, it's glorious for you. Because I have to, let's just pretend it was the 3 of us that went on a quest and you put a failure down. I'm not given complete information. One of these 2 are bad. I don't know which, however. Yes, so let me go over some just general guidelines. And we'll go with the hardest first, Merlin. You know what, let's go with the easiest first. A loyal servant of Arthur. As the loyal servant of Arthur, you want to do 2 things. You want to make the minions of Mordred think that you're Merlin by being slightly confident in who you believe is good and evil. And also, you want to try to figure out secretly who Merlin actually is so that you can trust them and go with their votes that they might propose or suggestions that they might secretly hint at. You more or less, though, want to try to be obnoxious in some ways and or confident, even if you're not sure, even if you're wrong. And it's extremely important because I'll tell you why in a moment. But you sort of want to you definitely want to try to figure out who the bad guys are. And you sort of you need to be active in the game, because if you're not active, the minions will notice it and not think you're Merlin, which is a very big problem for Merlin. As the minions of Mordred, you know who your ally is, and so you know who is potentially evil. The things you want to do is cause as much confusion as possible. Ideally, when votes are, when teams are being sent, either you never have more than one failure, so you never give too much information away, and you just sort of try to cause confusion as well as drawing out Merlin. Because if you have Merlin figured out, you've won the game no matter what happens next. You want to work with your partners, and ideally you don't want to be on the same quest as them 100% of the time, because you run the risk of, I'm going to play a failure and hopefully they don't. But if they do, then 2 failures are going to be revealed, which is a problem. Depending on the player count, sort of strategies can change a little bit. A rule actually that I completely forgot about that I should mention, that is for higher player counts. So with 6 players, you sort of have more people going on quests in general. 5 players is hardest for the good guys in general because they have to have figured out who the good guys are after the first quest and the third quest. In higher player counts, you'll notice that quest 4 has some special little text. So with the 10 player count, has some special little text here that says 2 fails required. What this means is that for this quest, and only this quest, not quest 5, not quest 3, but only quest 4, and this is the same for multiple sides, 2 fails are required for the quest to fail. So if I selected 5 people, one of them was a minion of Mordred, the rest were good guys, and a failure pops up in the results. So 4 successes appear and 1 failure appears. This is the only exception where this quest succeeds. So this marker, the good side marker, would be put on it. If we were on quest 5 and there were 4 successes placed down on it and 1 failure, the bad guys would have it. That is a little bit of a confusing thing that people sort of lose track of and can cause some sadness. However, I digress. So, when you're a minion of Mordred, you want to try to not give the regular loyal servants of Arthur any information that's concrete. You want them to be as confused as possible, and ideally, you want them to be like, no, he's a good guy. I'm like 29,000% sure of it. If you're a good guy, you want to try to figure out who they are and be sort of obnoxious about it because you need to be active. And the reason why is because Merlin. Merlin is such a unique role in this game, and it's very hard for beginner players to play Merlin well. Because if you're Merlin, you know who the bad guys are. But you can't let them know that you know they're bad guys. So let's just pretend I'm Merlin in a situation here. And we'll say it's a 5-player quest. And I really haven't talked a whole lot. And I just go, you know what? And we're on quest, we'll say 5. It's come down to the wire. I really haven't talked a lot. And I go, okay, I'm going to nominate myself. This guy over here, who I know is good, and you also know is good. And this guy over here, who I know is good, and you also know is good. Let's vote on it. There's 3 approvals and 2 rejects. You sort of are going to wonder, how did he end up picking the exact right team combination? How did he correctly choose the good people on the team? And if there's not really a plausible explanation for it, if I haven't been loud and obnoxious, or like basically if I haven't given reasons to it, you can sort of deduce that, you know what, he probably knew I was evil all along. And I'm going to select him when it comes down to assassinate. I don't have this. It's this one. Assassinating. Damn it. Assassinating. There we go. Assassinating Merlin. I'm going to choose him, and I bet you I'm going to be right. With Merlin, you really, really have to be careful. You need to say incorrect things to throw the bad guys off, but you don't want to go overboard and actually lead your team to making it so the bad guys win. It's really a delicate balance of trying to manipulate your team to choose the right teams while also maybe trying to deter them if they seem to actually be too right on the track because you don't want them to think you're Merlin. I think really that's about it. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to ask and I'll happily answer. Just to add on to a few other small things, there are sort of additional roles you can add or change. So default game, I believe, always includes Merlin and the Assassin. And the Assassin always has final say. But say you're finding the game too hard, evil's always winning, you can include different roles that will help or hurt. different sides. Oberon, you can replace a generic minion of Mordred with Oberon. Oberon is unknown to evil. He won't open his eyes when you say minions of Mordred open your eyes. He'll be as clueless as your loyal servant of Arthur, except it's worse because his partners will also be as clueless to him. This can cause interesting situations where Oberon and another bad guy have been chosen to go on a quest together, not realizing that they're both evil, and they'll both play fails and reveal themselves because there's two fails in a quest of 2 people or 3 people. Really makes it harder for the minions of Mordred to win, which is not a bad thing at all if you're having problems playing the game or feeling that, some players are having a rougher time or that evil is always winning or the good guys are always winning. If you think the good guys are winning too much, there's Mordred, who's unknown to Merlin. At the beginning of the part where people put their thumbs up, Mordred will not do that. Merlin doesn't know who Mordred is and can try to figure it out. Makes Merlin's job harder. Makes it maybe potentially harder for the bad guys as well, because they don't necessarily, they'll not have an as easy time to figure out who Merlin is. But the nice thing is that Merlin won't be able to 100% know if a quest is going to pass or fail, because he won't know who all the bad guys are. You have Morgana, who you do need Percival in order to include her. Percival basically knows who Merlin is, so near the end after Merlin sees who the bad guys are, Merlin will close his eyes. Then Merlin will put his thumb up, and Percival will open his eyes. He'll know who Merlin is. This makes the game much easier for the good guys to win, because now you have somebody who knows who is 100% good and also knows who is fully evil. To make this role a little weaker, you can include Morgana, who appears as Merlin. So when Percival opens his eyes, when Merlin has his thumbs up, Morgana will also have her thumbs up, and Percival will have to figure out who's actually Morgana and who's actually Merlin, and can be really confused because of that. That's really just about it. I've never actually played with the Lady of the Lake, but she makes it easier for the good guys to win as well. Really, this is just a fun game with a lot of replayability, because the roles are always random and you're just trying to figure out, like, oh, who's good, who's bad. If you're bad, you're stressing out because you don't want to reveal too much information. You don't want to reveal that you're bad. If you're good, you're confused and trying to be like, are you evil? I know you're evil. You must be evil. Blah, 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 blah. And trying to trap people into accidentally claiming they're evil and then being really convinced they're evil, and then a vote happens and everybody agrees with them and you were actually good and they were actually good, and the evil guys were just sort of laughing in the back. That's definitely never happened to me before. That's it though. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, let me know. Hope you enjoyed and have an excellent one.